Welcome, dear listener, to another journey through the quiet corners of history, where the past unfolds in whispers and shadows. Tonight, we invite you to step into the world of the ancient Etruscans, a people who thrived in the rolling hills of what is now Italy, centuries before Rome's rise. This is boring history for sleep, and our tale is one of clay-stained hands, flickering oil lamps, and lives woven into the rhythm of a forgotten civilization. As you settle in, let your mind drift to a time when the air was thick with the scent of olive groves and the hum of artisans at work. Picture yourself in an Etruscan village, surrounded by stone walls and the distant murmur of a festival. Our story will carry you through the daily struggles, the grand ambitions, and the quiet wonders of this enigmatic people, all told in a way to soothe your thoughts and guide you toward rest. We'll wander through 15 tales, each a window into the Etruscan world, from the potter's wheel to the halls of nobles, from sacred rites to the clash of empires. There's no rush, no urgency, only the gentle cadence of history unfolding. So, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let us begin with the life of an Etruscan potter, a life of toil and craft that shaped the heartbeat of their society. Imagine yourself rising before dawn in a small Etruscan village, nestled among the hills of ancient Tuscany, around the 7th century BCE. The air is cool, heavy with the scent of damp earth and olive trees, but already you feel the weight of the day ahead. You are a potter, one of many who craft the vessels that hold the wine, oil, and grain of your people. Your life is a constant rhythm of labor, shaped by the turning of the wheel and the firing of the kiln. Yet it is a life that would test your endurance in ways you might not expect. Your home is a modest hut, its walls of mud brick and thatch, the floor packed earth smoothed by years of footsteps. As you step outside, the village's stirring goats bleat, a neighbor's fire crackles, and the faint clink of tools echoes from nearby workshops. Your own workshop is just steps away, a low-roofed space where the air is thick with the chalky smell of clay and the acrid temps of wood. Here, you spend your days, your hands perpetually stained gray, your shoulders aching from hours at the wheel. Each morning, you fetch clay from a nearby riverbank, trudging through reeds and hauling heavy baskets back to your workshop. The clay is gritty, flecked with tiny stones, and you kneel for hours, kneading it with water to make it pliable. Your fingers grow raw, the repetitive motion, a quiet meditation, yet also a source of nagging pain. The wheel itself is a simple wooden disc, spun by hand or foot, and as you shape each vessel, be it a wide-mouthed jar or a delicate cup, your back bends, and your eyes strain in the dim light of an oil lamp. Mistakes are costly. A cracked pot means wasted hours, and the local aristocrat who commissions your work is unforgiving. Your meals are simple, taken in brief pauses between tasks. A bowl of spelt porridge, perhaps studded with dried figs or a drizzle of honey if the harvest was kind, fills your stomach but leaves you longing for more. Bread, baked hard and dipped in olive oil, is a staple, but meat is rare, reserved for festivals or the tables of the wealthy. Water comes from a communal well, its taste faintly earthy, and you drink it from a cup you made yourself, its surface scratched from daily use. The village around you hums with activity, but your world is narrow, bound by the demands of your craft. You work under the watchful eye of a guild, a group of artisans who set prices and standards, ensuring your pots meet the needs of merchants and nobles. Yet, the guild offers little protection from the whims of nature. The marshes near your village breed fevers that sweep through families, leaving you to pray to Tinia, the sky god, for health. A poor harvest or a storm can disrupt trade, leaving your pots unsold, your debts to landowners mounting. As evening falls, you fire your kiln, a dome of clay and stone that glows orange in the twilight. The process is delicate, too much heat, and the pots crack, too little, and they remain brittle. You stay awake, feeding the fire with olive branches, the smoke stinging your eyes. The village grows quiet, save for the distant howl of a wolf or the soft chants of a priestess at a nearby shrine. Exhausted, you return to your hut, collapsing onto a straw pallet, your body heavy but your mind already turning to tomorrow's tasks. This was the life of an Etruscan potterer, life of skill and perseverance, but also of unrelenting toil. The clay you shaped was the backbone of your community, holding the fruits of its labor. Yet your own labor went largely unnoticed, a humble thread in the tapestry of Etruscan society. As you drift now, Imagine the weight of that clay in your hands, the flicker of the kiln's glow, and let the rhythm of that ancient life carry you deeper into our journey. As the glow of the potter's kiln fades from your mind, let us shift our gaze to a figure who stood at the pinnacle of Etruscan power, a man whose name echoed through the hills of ancient Italy. Imagine yourself now in the bustling city of Clusium, around 508 BC, where the air carries the scent of cedar smoke and freshly tanned leather. Here we meet Lars Porsena, a king whose ambition nearly reshaped the fate of Rome itself. His story is one of cunning, conquest, and quiet legacy, a tale that unfolds like a slow river, carrying us through the heart of Etruscan might. Picture Clusium, one of the 12 great cities of the Etruscan League, its walls of tufa stone rising from the fertile plains. The city is alive with activity. Merchants hawk bronze mirrors, priests chant to the gods, and warriors sharpen their spears. At its center stands the royal palace, a sprawling complex of courtyards and frescoed halls, where Lars Porsena holds court. He is a man of middle years, his beard flecked with grey, his eyes sharp with the weight of leadership. Clad in a purple cloak pinned with gold, he commands respect, yet his demeanor is measured, his words chosen with care. To his people, he is both king and arbiter, a leader who balances the will of the gods with the demands of a fractious league. Porsena's rise to power began in the shadow of Clusium's prosperity. The city thrived on trade, its markets filled with amber from the Baltic, wine from Greece, and grain from the fields of Etrusca. But wealth brought envy, and the Etruscan cities were often at odds, their alliances fragile. Porsena, born to a noble family, learned early the art of diplomacy. As a young man, he mediated disputes between rival clans, earning a reputation for fairness. By the time he ascended as king, he was known not for reckless ambition, but for a steady hand, a leader who could unite the fractious Etruscans for a greater purpose. That purpose came when Rome, a fledgling city to the south, cast out its Etruscan kings. The Tarquins, an Etruscan dynasty, had ruled Rome with an iron grip, but their tyranny sparked rebellion. In 509 BCE, the Romans declared a republic, expelling Tarquin the Proud and his family. The exiled king sought refuge in Clusium, pleading with Porsena to restore him. For Porsena, this was no mere favor, it was an opportunity. Rome was growing, its influence creeping into Etruscan lands. To restore Tarquin would secure an ally. To conquer Rome would cement Clusium's dominance. Imagine the preparations in Clusium as Porsena rallied his forces. Warriors gathered in the city's agora, their bronze armor glinting in the morning sun. Chariots rumbled through the gates, their wheels kicking up clouds of dust. Priests offered sacrifices to Tinia, the sky god, reading omens in the flight of birds. The army marched south, a disciplined column of spearmen, archers, and cavalry, their standards bearing the eagle of Clusium. The journey was arduous, through rugged hills and marshy valleys, but Porsena's resolve held firm. His goal was not merely to fight, but to overawe, to show Rome the might of it. By 508 BCE, Porsena's army reached the Tiber River, encamping on its banks. Rome, still a young city, trembled at the sight. Its walls were modest, its militia untested. Porsena laid siege, cutting off grain supplies and blockading the river. The Romans fought bravely, their resolve stiffened by tales of Etruscan dominance. One story, whispered in later years, told of Horatius, a Roman who held a bridge against Porsena's men, buying time for his city. Whether true or embellished, such tales spoke to the desperation of those days, when every dawn brought the threat of conquest. Yet, Porsena was no mere warlord. His strategy was as much diplomatic as military. He negotiated with Roman envoys, offering terms that would spare the city in exchange for loyalty. Some accounts suggest he was impressed by Rome's defiance, seeing in it a spark of potential. Others claim he grew weary of the siege, his supplies dwindling. Whatever the truth, Porsena withdrew, leaving Rome intact. Tarquin was not restored, and Clusium's king returned home, his ambitions unfulfilled, but his reputation intact. Back in Clusium, Porsena's rule continued, marked by prosperity and piety. He commissioned temples to Uni, the goddess of love, their altars adorned with offerings of wine and incense. He strengthened the city's walls, ensuring its safety against rival Etruscans or ambitious Romans. Yet his legacy is one of paradox. To the Etruscans, he was a unifier, a king who brought Clusium to the brink of empire. To the Romans, he was a formidable foe, a shadow that loomed over their early republic. His death, sometime in the late 6th century BCE, marked the end of an era, as Clusium's power waned and Rome's star rose. As you rest now, picture Porsenna in his palace, gazing over the hills of Etruria, his mind heavy with the weight of a near victory. His story, like the potter's clay, is shaped by effort and chance, a reminder of the fleeting nature of power. Let the murmur of Clusium's markets fade as we prepare to explore another facet of this ancient world, one that lingers in the shadows of history, waiting to be uncovered. As the echo of Lars Porsenna's ambitions fades from the hills of Clusium, let us turn our attention to a quieter, yet no less captivating, enigma of the Etruscan world. Imagine yourself now in the heart of Tarquinia, around the 6th century BC, standing before a polished bronze mirror etched with strange symbols. These are the letters of the Etruscan language, a script that once carried the thoughts, prayers, and records of a vibrant civilization. Yet, to us, it remains a puzzle, a whisper from the past that refuses to yield its full meaning. Tonight, we explore the mystery of the Etruscan language, a tale of lost words, buried texts, and the enduring allure of the unknown. Picture Tarquinia at twilight, its streets winding between whitewashed houses and grand tombs carved into the cliffs. The air is warm, scented with rosemary and the faint tang of the nearby sea. In a small workshop, a scribe sits cross-legged, his fingers stained with ink as he carves letters onto a clay tablet. The symbols are elegant, flowing like the curves of a river. Some resemble Greek letters, others are wholly unique. These are the tools of the Etruscan tongue, used to record everything from trade contracts to sacred hymns. But unlike the languages of their neighbors Greek, Latin, or Phoenician, the Etruscan script guards its secrets tightly, defying the efforts of scholars across centuries. The Etruscans were a literate people, their writing found on an array of objects. Imagine holding a terracotta wine jug, its surface incised with a dedication to a god, or a linen book, its pages folded in a temple archive. Bronze tablets bear laws, while stone sarcophagi carry epitaphs for the dead. Most intriguing are the small, flat seals, no larger than a coin, etched with names or prayers, tucked into tombs as offerings. These texts, numbering in the thousands, have been unearthed from Etruscan cities like Veii, Cerveteri, and Tarquinia, each a fragment of a lost world. Yet, their meanings remain elusive, like a song heard through a closed door. The Etruscan alphabet itself is not the mystery. It was adapted from the Greek script, brought to Italy by traders in the 8th century BCE. The letters are familiar: alpha, beta, gamma, reshaped into Etruscan forms. Scholars can read the sounds, pronouncing words like zich or tu, but the language behind the script is the enigma. Etruscan is unrelated to Latin, Greek, or any known tongue, a linguistic island in the ancient Mediterranean. Some words are clear. Writers means father, clan means son, but most are opaque. Their grammar and syntax a labyrinth. A single sentence on a tombstone might name a person, their family, and their deeds, yet leave us guessing at the nuances of their life. Consider the Pyrgi tablets, 3 gold and bronze plaques found in a temple near the sea. Dating to around 500 BCE, they bear parallel texts in Etruscan and Phoenician, a rare bilingual clue. The Phoenician text honors a goddess, but the Etruscan version, while similar, resists full translation. Was it a dedication, a treaty, or a ritual formula? The tablets offer a glimpse, but not a key. Or picture the Liber Linteus, a linen book from the 3rd century BCE, its faded ink preserving a calendar of religious rites. Its 1,300 words are the longest Etruscan text known, yet only fragments states God's names. Offerings are understood. The rest is a riddle, its meaning locked in the folds of time. Why does the Etruscan language resist us? Part of the answer lies in its scarcity. Unlike Greek or Latin, which survived in vast libraries, Etruscan texts were often ephemeral, written on perishable materials like wood or wax, lost to decay. The Romans, who absorbed Etruria, had little interest in preserving their rival's tongue. Temples were razed, archives burned, and the Etruscan elite adopted Latin, leaving their language to fade. By the 1st century BCE, it was nearly extinct, spoken only in remote villages or sacred rites. The few surviving texts, mostly short inscriptions, lack the context needed to crack the code. Yet, the mystery is not without hope. Archaeologists continue to unearth new finds: a bronze mirror here, a tombstone there, each adding a piece to the puzzle. Linguists compare Etruscan to distant languages, like those of the Aegean or Caucasus, searching for kin. Some suggest it descended from a pre-Indo-European tongue, a relic of Europe's ancient past. Others see hints of influence from Lydian traders or Anatolian migrants who may have brought their speech to Italy. These theories, like the artifacts themselves, are fragments scattered across the landscape of history. Imagine standing in a Tarquinian tomb, its walls painted with dancers and musicians, a bronze mirror in your hand. The inscription on its back names a woman, perhaps a priestess, but her story, her joys, her fears slips through our fingers. The Etruscan language is a reminder of how much of the past remains just beyond reach, a whisper that teases the mind. It was a language of love, of commerce, of devotion, spoken by people who laughed, wept, and dreamed as we do. Yet, its silence is part of its allure, a mystery that invites contemplation without demanding resolution. As you rest now, let the image of those flowing symbols linger, etched in clay or bronze, their meanings hovering just out of grasp. The Etruscans spoke to their gods, their kin, their future, and though we cannot fully hear them, their words still resonate in the quiet of this ancient world. Let us carry this sense of wonder forward as we step into the lives of those who moved in the shadows of Etruscan power. Their world is vivid and complex as the script they left behind. As the enigma of the Etruscan script lingers in your mind, like a half-remembered dream, let us step from the shadows of mystery into the radiant halls of power. Imagine yourself now in the heart of Tarquinia, around the 6th century BC, where the evening air is fragrant with myrtle and roasted herbs. You are no longer a potter or a scribe, but an Etruscan noble, one of the elite who shaped the destiny of your city. Your life is one of luxury and influence, yet it is also a delicate dance of duty and danger, a world apart from the clay-stained hands of the artisans. Let us wander through this opulent existence, where every feast and decision carries the weight of tradition. Picture yourself in a grand villa, perched on a hill overlooking Tarquinia's patchwork of fields and tombs. The walls are painted with vivid frescoes, dancers twirling, horses galloping, gods reclining under grape. The floors are paved with polished stone, cooled beneath your sandaled feet, and the rooms are lit by flickering oil lamps, their bronze stands cast in the shape of leaping deer. Your clothing is a testament to your status, a long tunic of fine wool, dyed deep purple with murex, draped with a cloak pinned by a gold fibula. Around your neck hangs a heavy amulet, engraved with the face of Uni, the goddess who guards your family's fortune. Your day begins with the soft light of dawn filtering through linen curtains. A servant brings a tray of bread, drizzled with honey and sprinkled with poppy seeds, alongside a cup of watered wine, its taste tart and refreshing. Breakfast is a quiet affair, shared with your spouse and children in a courtyard where its water sparkling in the morning sun. Your household is large dozens of servants, scribes, and guards, each with their role. Some tend the olive groves that fund your wealth, others polish the bronze mirrors that adorn your wife's chambers. Their loyalty is your shield, but also your burden, for a noble's power rests on the goodwill of those beneath them. As a noble, your role is to govern and represent. You sit on Tarquinia's council, a body of aristocrats who advise the king and settle disputes. Today, you ride to the city's agora, your chariot drawn by sleek horses, their manes braided with crimson cords. The agora is a hive of activity. Merchants shout, priests burn incense, and petitioners clamor for your ear. A farmer pleads for relief from taxes after a poor harvest. A rival noble accuses another of stealing land. You listen, your face impassive, weighing justice against politics. Your decisions shape the city's harmony, but they also breed enemies, for every favor granted is a slight to someone else. Midday brings a pause, a chance to retreat to your villa for a meal that contrasts sharply with the potter's humble fare. Servants lay out platters of roasted boar, glazed with honey and herbs, alongside lentils stewed with garlic and bowls of ripe figs. Wine flows freely, poured from a bucaro, jug you commissioned, its black surface gleaming. You recline on a cushioned bench, joined by other nobles, their laughter mingling with the notes of a lyre player. Conversation turns to trade. Greek ships have brought new amphiry, but rumors of piracy threaten the routes. You nod, calculating risks, your mind never fully at ease. Yet, your life is not all feasts and councils. As a noble, you are a servant of the gods, expected to fund festivals and lead rituals. Imagine standing before a temple, its columns painted red and blue, as you offer a bull to Tenya, the sky god. The air is thick with incense, the crowd's chants rising like a tide. You pour wine onto the altar, your hands steady, knowing the omens will be read in the beast's liver. A favorable sign strengthens your influence. A poor one could spark whispers of divine disfavor. The gods are ever present. They will a constant shadow over your decisions. Your wealth comes from land and trade, but it is precarious. Olive groves and vineyards yield riches, but droughts or pests can ruin a season. You invest in ships, sending pottery and bronze to distant ports, but storms or rival cities like Carthage can sink your fortunes. At home, you host banquets to secure alliances, gifting gold rings to lesser nobles or Greek vases to visiting on. These displays are essential, yet they drain your coffers, and a single misstep, a failed harvest, a lost ship could tip you toward ruin. Danger lurks closer still. Etruscan cities are fiercely independent, and Tarquinia's nobles vie for dominance. A rival family, envious of your influence, spreads rumors of disloyalty to the king. You hear whispers of plots poisoning your wine, a dagger in the dark. Even within your household, trust is fragile. A disgruntled servant or ambitious cousin could betray you. Your wife, a partner in your schemes, advises caution, her own network of informants keeping watch. You sleep lightly, your dreams haunted by the fragility of power. As evening falls, you retire to your chamber, the air cool with the scent of lavender. A servant lights a lamp, its flame casting shadows on a fresco of a banquet, a reminder of your duties. You lie on a wooden bed, its frame inlaid with ivory, the mattress stuffed with wool. Sleep comes slowly, your mind turning over the day's alliances and risks. This is the life of an Etruscan noble, opulent, yes, but a constant balancing act, where every luxury is tempered by obligation and peril. As you rest now, let the glow of the villa's lamps fade, the clink of goblets growing distant. The noble's world, so different from the potter's, is yet another thread in the Etruscan tapestry, woven with ambition and faith. Let us carry this sense of grandeur forward, as we turn to the humble craft that adorned both noble halls and common homes, a craft that shaped the very soul of it. As the opulence of the noble's villa fades from your mind, like a banquet's lingering warmth, let us return to the heart of Etruscan creativity, where skilled hands shape the very essence of their culture. Imagine yourself now in a bustling workshop in the city of around the 7th century BCE. The air is heavy with the earthy scent of wet clay and the smoky tang of burning olive wood. You are an artisan, not just any potter, but one skilled in the craft of Bucaro pottery, a hallmark of Etruscan artistry. This is a world of patience and precision, where every vessel tells a story of beauty and tradition. Let us explore this craft, its rhythms as soothing as the turning of the wheel itself. Picture the workshop, a low-roofed structure of mud brick, its walls stained with years of clay dust. The floor is strewn with straw to keep the dust down, and wooden racks line the walls, holding rows of drying pots. A small window lets in slants of sunlight, catching motes of dust that dance in the air. Your tools are simple but cherished. A wooden wheel, smoothed by years of use. A set of bone scrapers, their edges worn from shaping clay. And a bowl of water to keep your hands slick. Nearby, a kiln glows faintly, its heat a constant presence, promising to transform your work into something enduring. Bucaro pottery is no ordinary. Crofted is the pride of Vittoria, known for its glossy black finish and delicate forms. The process begins with the clay, sourced from the banks of the Mignuan River, its texture fine and pliable after hours of kneading. You sit at your wheel, the clay cool and damp beneath your fingers, and begin to spin. The wheel hums softly, a rhythmic pulse that steadies your breath. With practiced hands, you coax the clay upward, shaping it into a slender jug or a wide-mouthed bowl. The work is slow, deliberate, each motion a meditation. A single lapse of finger pressed to hard can collapse the form. Hours of effort lost. The secret of Bucaro lies not just in shaping but in firing. Unlike the red or buff pottery of your Greek neighbors, Bucaro is fired in a special way to achieve its distinctive sheen. Imagine tending the kiln, a dome of clay and stone, its interior glowing like a trapped sunset. You stack your pots carefully, sealing the kiln to starve it of oxygen, a technique learned through generations. The fire consumes olive branches, their crackling a steady song, and the lack of air turns the clay a deep, lustrous black. You watch the smoke curl upward, a grey plume against the evening sky, knowing that gods must favor this batch for it to succeed. Once cooled, the pots are polished with smooth stones, giving them a mirror-like finish that catches the light. Some you leave plain, their elegancy in their simplicity. Others you adorn with delicate incisions, spirals, rosettes, or figures of dancers and beasts. These designs are not mere decoration, but a language of their own, echoing the myths and rituals of your people. A jug might bear the image of the leaping stag, sacred to the goddess Artumes, while a cup might show a banquet, mirroring the feasts of the nobles you serve. Each piece is a labor of love, destined for a merchant's table, a noble's banquet, or a tomb's eternal rest. Your work is governed by the guild, a brotherhood of artisans who share techniques and set standards. They meet in a shaded courtyard, their voices low as they discuss clay sources or trade routes. The guild ensures your pots fetch a fair price, but it also binds you to its rules. You must produce a quota, your work inspected for flaws. A cracked vessel brings shame, and too many could see you cast out, your livelihood lost. Yet, the guild is also a community where stories are shared over cups of watered wine, tales of distant markets, or a potter who once pleased a king. The life of a Bucaro potter is not without its trials. Your hands ache from hours at the wheel, your eyes strain in the dim light, and the kiln's heat leaves you parched. The rivers clake and fail, too sandy or too coarse, forcing you to start anew. Trade disruptions, Greek ships delayed, Roman raiders on the roads can leave your pots unsold, your family hungry, yet there is pride in your craft. When you see a noble pour wine from your jug, or a priest place your urn in a tomb, you feel a quiet connection to Etruria's soul. Your pots are vessels of life, holding the oil that lights lamps, the wine that honors gods, the ashes that preserve the dead. As evening settles over Cerviceri, you clean your tools, the clay flaking from your fingers like dried leaves. The workshop grows quiet, save for the distant call of an owl, a harbinger of the goddess of wisdom. You step outside, the cool night air a relief, and gaze at the stars above the necropolis. Your work, though humble, is woven into the fabric of your people, a craft that endures beyond your lifetime. As you rest now, let the rhythm of the wheel linger, the soft thud of clay a gentle pulse, carrying you deeper into the Etruscan world. As the rhythm of the potter's wheel fades into the quiet of the night, let us step away from the workshops of Cerveteri and venture into a place where the Etruscans honored their dead with breathtaking artistry. Imagine yourself now, standing at the edge of the necropolis of Cerveteri around the 7th century BCE. The air is cool, scented with pine and the faint musk of earth freshly turned. Before you stretches a city of tombs, their rounded domes rising like gentle hills under the twilight sky. This is no ordinary graveyard, but a marvel of Etruscan architecture, a silent testament to their reverence for the afterlife. Let us wander through this necropolis, where stone and memory intertwine, and explore its haunting beauty. Picture the landscape of Cerveteri, a plateau overlooking the Tyrrhenian Sea, its slopes dotted with olive groves and wild thyme. The necropolis, known today as the Banditaja, sprawls across this terrain, a vast network of tombs carved into the soft tufa rock or built above ground. As you walk the ancient paths, worn smooth by centuries of mourners, you see hundreds of burial mounds, their surfaces cloaked in grass and wildflowers. Each mound is a tumulus, a circular tomb topped with earth, some as wide as a village square, others small enough for a single family. The largest, belonging to nobles, are crowned with stone markers, their edges carved with spirals that echo the bucero pots you crafted. Step closer to one such tomb, its entrance a low arch framed by stone blocks. You'll descend a short staircase, the air growing cooler, tinged with the damp scent of moss and stone. Inside, the chamber feels like a home frozen in time. The walls are hewn from the living rock, smoothed and painted with frescoes of banquets, dancers, and leaping dolphins, their colors vivid despite the dim light. Stone benches line the walls, carved to mimic wooden couches where the dead were laid to rest, their ashes sealed in urns, or their bodies wrapped in linen. Above, the ceiling curves into a dome, its surface etched to resemble the beams of a house, a reminder that the Etruscans saw death as a continuation of life. As you explore, you notice the care poured into every detail. Some tombs have multiple chambers, connected by narrow corridors, each room a mirror of the living world. One chamber might hold a stone table, as if set for an eternal feast, its surface etched with cups and plates. Another has niches for offerings, bucaro jars, bronze, mirrors, or tiny figurines of gods. The air is still, but you can almost hear the echo of ancient rites, the soft chants of priests, the clink of wine poured for the departed. These tombs were not just graves, but sacred spaces where families gathered to honor their ancestors, leaving gifts of oil, wine, and grain. The necropolis was a marvel of engineering as much as artistry. Imagine the laborers who carved these chambers, their bronze tools chipping away at the tufa, their torches casting flickering shadows. The tumuli were built to last, their stone foundations laid with precision to withstand centuries of rain and wind. Some tombs, like the Tomb of the Reliefs, are adorned with stucco carvings of tools, weapons, and household goods, as if the dead might need them in the afterlife. Others, like the Tomb of the Ship, feature paintings of vessels sailing across a painted sea, perhaps guiding souls to a distant realm. This was a place of pilgrimage, not just for Servitseries people, but for Etruscans across the land. Families visited on festival days, their voices mingling with the rustle of leaves as they swept the tomb floors and left fresh offerings. Priests performed rituals, reading omens in the smoke of incense or the flight of birds overhead. The necropolis was a bridge between worlds, where the living and the dead remained connected, bound by memory and reverence. For the Etruscans, death was not an end but a journey, and these tombs were the gateways, crafted with love and awe. Yet, even this sacred place was not without its trials. Tombs were tempting targets for robbers who crept under cover of night to steal gold or bronze. Imagine a guard patrolling the necropolis, his spear at the ready, his eyes scanning the shadows for intruders. Floods or earthquakes could damage the tumuli, forcing repairs that strained the city's resources. And as Rome's influence grew, some tombs were abandoned, their entrances sealed by time, their stories forgotten until modern archaeologists rediscovered them. As you stand in one such chamber, the air cool against your skin, you feel the weight of centuries. The frescoes seem to glow, their figures dancing in the half-light, as if inviting you to join their eternal feast. The necropolis is a testament to the Etruscans' vision of eternity, a place where stone and art preserve the rhythm of their lives. It is a marvel that speaks of faith, of community, of a people who built not just for the present but for the ages. As you rest now, let the stillness of the tomb envelop you, the distant drip of water, a gentle lullaby. The necropolis fades, but its echoes linger, carrying us toward another aspect of Etruscan life, where the clamor of trade and the pulse of commerce shaped their world as surely as their tombs. As the silent chambers of Serviteria's necropolis fade into the stillness of memory, let us step from the realm of the dead back into the vibrant pulse of the living. Imagine yourself now in the bustling port of Tarquinia, around the 6th century BC, where the Tyrrhenian Sea laps against a stone quay, its waters glinting under a midday sun. The air is thick with the briny scent of salt, the temps of pitch from ship hulls, and the faint sweetness of spilled wine. You are a trader, standing amidst a throng of merchants, sailors, and dock workers, bartering for the goods that fuel Etruria's wealth. This is the world of Tarquinia's port, a hub of commerce where every deal is a dance of risk and reward. Let us wander through this lively marketplace, where the rhythm of trade beats like a steady heart. Picture the port of Gravisca Tarquinia's gateway to the sea, its docks lined with sturdy ships bobbing on the tide. The quay is a chaos of activity, yet there's a comforting order to it all. Wooden cranes groan as they hoist amphorae of olive oil and wine, their clay surfaces stamped with Etruscan seals. Carts trundle along, piled high with bales of wool, ingots of bronze, and baskets of dried figs. Sailors shout in a mix of tongues Etruscan, Greek, Phoenician, their voices blending with the creak of ropes and the slap of waves. The market stalls, shaded by linen awnings, spill over with goods, amber beads from the Baltic, painted vases from Corinth, and shimmering fish fresh from the sea. As a trader, Your day begins early, when the first light gilds the water. You rise from a simple inn near the docks, its walls smelling of salt and old wood, and break your fast with a hunk of barley bread and a cup of watered wine, its taste sharp and bracing. You wear a practical tunic, its hem stained with dust, and a leather pouch at your belt holds your coins in a small bronze scale for weighing goods. Your stall is a modest affair, wooden table beneath a canopy butt. It's your window to the world, where you trade the fruits of Etruria for the treasures of distant lands. Imagine standing at your stall, a clay tablet at your side where you scratch tallies with a reed stylus. A Greek merchant approaches, his ship laden with amphary of Attic wine, their necks sealed with wax. You offer a stack of Bucero cups, their black surfaces gleaming, and a bale of wool dyed crimson. The haggling begins, a slow and deliberate exchange. Your voice is calm but firm. You weigh his wine on your scale, checking for short measure, while he inspects your wool for flaws. The deal is struck with a clasp of hands, and you feel a quiet satisfaction, knowing the wool will fetch a high price in Tarquinia's ag. But trade is not without its perils. The sea is a fickle partner, its moods as unpredictable as the gods. A sudden storm can sink a ship, your cargo lost to the depths, leaving you to face angry creditors. Pirates lurk off the coast, their swift galleys preying on unguarded vessels. You've heard tales of crews taken hostage, their goods plundered, their lives bartered for ransom. Even on land, risks abound. A rival trader might undercut your prices, or a noble's tax collector might demand a larger share of your profits. You keep a sharp eye on the crowds, wary of pickpockets who slip through the throng, their fingers nimble as they seek unguarded power. The port is more than a marketplace. It's a crossroads of cultures. Phoenician sailors, their beards oiled and tunics bright with dye, barter for Etruscan bronze. Greek potters, their hands dusted with clay, marvel at the Bucero's sheen. Local fishermen haul in nets of sardines, their scales flashing like silver coins. You overhear snippets of stories, a storm off Sardinia, a new temple in Carthage. These exchanges weave Tarquinia into the wider Mediterranean, a thread in a vast tapestry of trade that stretches from Egypt to Iberia. Festivals add their own rhythm to the port. On market days, the docks swell with visitors, their chatter mingling with the music of flutes and drums. Imagine a stall piled with offerings for Uni, the goddess of love and prosperity. Teeny, clay figurines, vials of oil, and braided wreaths of myrtle. You pause to buy a fish, grilled over an open fire, its flesh smoky and tender, and share it with a fellow trader as you discuss the season's prospects. These moments of camaraderie, brief as they are, ground you in the community of the port, where every deal is a bond, every risk shared. As evening falls, the market quiets, the stalls emptying as merchants pack their wares. The sea turns golden, reflecting the setting sun, and the air grows cooler, scented with salt and seaweed. You tally your day's earnings, scratching figures onto your tablet, and offer a silent prayer to Terms, the god of trade, for safe voyages and fair winds. Your life as a trader is one of constant motion, a delicate balance of profit and peril, yet it is vital to Etruria's prosperity. The goods you barter: wine, wool, pottery, the spirit of your people across the seas, linking Tarquinia to the world beyond. As you rest now, let the hum of the market fade, the creak of ships growing distant like a lullaby. The port's clamor settles into a gentle rhythm, a reminder of the Etruscans' reach and resilience. Let us carry this sense of connection forward as we turn to the stories that stirred their hearts, tales of gods and heroes that echoed through their halls and homes. As the lively hum of Tarquinia's port fades into the gentle lapping of waves, let us gather closer to the flickering glow of a different kind of light. Imagine yourself now in a quiet Etruscan village around the 6th century BCE, seated on a woven mat in a moonlit courtyard. The air is cool, scented with the sweet smoke of burning cedar and the faint aroma of wild thyme. Around you, villagers huddle close, their faces softened by the fire's glow, as a bard begins to chant a tale older than the stones beneath your feet. This is the myth of Tinius Wrath, a story of divine power and mortal humility, woven into the fabric of Etruscan belief. Let us drift through this ancient tale, its cadence as soothing as the night itself. Picture the scene: a small village nestled in the hills of Etruria. its roundhouses clustered around a central shrine. The fire crackles, casting shadows that dance across the faces of the gathered crowd. Weavers, children, and elders, all bound by the story about to unfold. The bard, an elder with a voice like flowing water, raises a bronze cup, its surface etched with lightning bolts, and begins. Tenia, the Etruscan sky god, reigns supreme in their pantheon, a figure akin to the Greek Zeus, his power manifest in the roar of thunder and the flash of storms. His name is whispered with reverence, for he is both creator and judge, the arbiter of order in a world of chaos. The myth begins in a time when Etruria's fields were green and bountiful, the rivers swollen with clear water. The people of a great city, perhaps Tarquinia or Villa, prospered under Tenia's gaze, their harvests abundant, their trade routes thriving. They built temples to honor him, their altars heaped with offerings of wine, grain, and the first fruits of the season. But prosperity bred pride, and the city's nobles grew arrogant. They hoarded their wealth, neglecting the sacred rites, and turned their backs on the priests who read omens in the sky. The bard's voice slows, lingering on the hubris of these long-ago leaders, their laughter echoing in halls, now lost to time. Tenia, from his throne among the clouds, watched with growing displeasure. The skies darkened, the air heavy with the scent of coming rain. One night, a bolt of lightning split an ancient oak, its trunk revered as a gift from the god. The people ignored the warning, their feasts continuing unabated. The bard pauses, letting the fire's crackle fill the silence, and you can almost feel the tension, the weight of divine judgment hanging over the village. Then, Tenia's wrath descended. Storms lashed the fields, turning them to mud. Rivers overflowed, sweeping away homes, and crops withered under unrelenting rain. The people cried out, their voices drowned by thunder, as the god's anger reshaped their world. But the myth is not one of despair alone. A young priestess, guided by a vision, climbed a sacred hill to face Tenia's storm. She carried no riches, only a simple clay figurine of a dove, crafted with care. Kneeling before a stone altar, she offered her prayers, her voice steady despite the wind. The bard's tone softens here, describing her humility, her hands trembling as she placed the dove on the altar, its wings catching the flicker of lightning. Moved by her sincerity, Tenia relented. The storms parted, sunlight breaking through the clouds, and the fields slowly bloomed again. The priestess returned, not as a hero, but as a reminder that the gods demanded respect, their favor earned through devotion, not wealth. This tale, passed down through generations, was more than a story too. The Etruscan zit was a guide for living. It taught the balance between pride and piety, a lesson etched into their rituals and art. Imagine a bronze mirror in a noble's home, its back engraved with Tenia hurling a thunderbolt, or a temple frieze showing the priestess offering her dove, a symbol of peace. Villagers retold the myth during festivals, their voices rising in song to honor Tenia, their altars adorned with clay doves and sprigs of olive. The story shaped their understanding of the world, where every storm was a message, every harvest a gift. The bard's role was sacred, their words a bridge to the divine. They learned these tales from elders, memorizing each verse, their performances blending poetry with music. Imagine the lyre's notes, soft and repetitive, weaving through the story like a thread, lulling the listeners into a shared trance. The myth of Tenia's wrath was not written in books but carried in memory, its details shifting slightly with each telling, yet its core enduring. It reminded the Etruscans of their place in the cosmos, a people bound to the gods by duty and awe. As the bard's voice fades, the fire burns low, its embers glowing like tiny stars. The villagers disperse, their footsteps soft on the earth, carrying the story's lessons into their dreams. For you, too, the tale is a gentle lullaby, its images of storms and doves a soothing backdrop to your rest. The Etruscans lived by these myths, their lives shaped by the gods they honored, just as their daily routines were shaped by the hands of women who held their society together. As you rest now, let the fire's glow linger, the bard's voice a distant echo in your mind. The myth of Tenia fades, but its resonance carries us forward, into the lives of those who wove the social fabric of Etruria, their strength as vital as any king's, as the mythic echo of Tinia's wrath fades into the embers of the village fire. Let us turn from the realm of gods and heroes to the quiet strength that held Etruscan society together. Imagine yourself now in a sunlit courtyard in Veii, around the 6th century BC, where the air carries the scent of freshly spun wool and blooming jasmine. You are surrounded by women mothers, daughters, priestesses, and artisans whose hands weave the fabric of daily life, their voices a soft chorus in the rhythm of the city. This is the world of Etruscan women, a realm of subtle power and enduring labor, where their contributions shaped their culture in ways that startled their neighbors. Let us wander through their lives, as vital to Etruria as the potter's clay or the noble's gold. Picture a modest house in Veii, its walls of sun-baked mud brick, its roof thatched with reeds. The courtyard is alive with activity, a space where women gather to work and talk. A loom stands in one corner, its wooden frame strung with taut threads, the shuttle sliding rhythmically as a woman weaves a length of woolen cloth. The fabric is dyed a soft ochre, its hue drawn from madder root gathered in the nearby hills. Nearby, another woman kneads dough on a stone table, her hands dusted with flour, preparing flatbreads for the evening meal. Children play at her feet, their laughter mingling with the clatter of loom weights, while an elder spins wool, her spindle twirling like a dancer in her practiced hands. As an Etruscan woman, your life is one of constant motion, yet it carries a quiet dignity. If you are a commoner, your day begins at dawn, fetching water from a well, its surface rippling in the morning light. The water is cool, tasting faintly of the clay jar you carry, its weight heavy on your shoulder as you return home. You tend the hearth, stirring a pot of lentils and herbs, their savory aroma filling the air. Your family relies on your skill to stretch meager resources: barley, vegetables, the occasional fish from the market. You mend tunics, patch sandals, and teach your daughters to weave, passing down patterns that mimic the spirals on temple walls. But Etruscan women were not confined to the hearth, a fact that set them apart from their Greek and early Roman neighbors. Imagine yourself as a woman of means, perhaps the wife of a merchant or a lesser noble. You move freely through Veii's agora, your linen gown swaying, a bronze mirror tucked under your arm. Unlike in Athens, where women were cloistered, you join your husband at banquets, reclining beside him on a cushioned bench. You sip wine from a bucero cup, its surface cool against your lips, and share in the conversation, your opinions on trade or politics heard, if not always heeded. Your presence is a mark of Etruscan equality, a balance that shocked Greek travelers who wrote of Etruscan women with a mix of awe and disapproval. Some women held even greater power. Picture a priestess, her hair bound with a fillet of gold, standing before a temple to Unai, goddess of love and fertility. Her role is sacred, her hands trained to read omens in the entrails of sacrificed lambs or the patterns of clouds. She leads rituals, her voice rising in a chant that echoes across the hills, guiding her people through festivals or crises. The air around her is thick with incense, its sweet smoke curling upward, a plea for divine favor. Her authority is respected, her counsel sought by nobles and commoners alike. Some priestesses, known as hatrenku, even inscribed their names on tombs, their legacy enduring in stone. Yet, power did not shield women from hardship. As a weaver, your fingers grow sore from hours at the loom, your eyes strained by intricate patterns. As a mother, you fear the fevers that sweep through the marshes, claiming children despite your prayers. Even noble women faced dangers. Childbirth was a perilous journey, and many did not survive it. The loss of a child or spouse left widows vulnerable, forced to manage households alone or remarry to secure their place. Yet Etruscan women were resilient, their roles flexible. A widow might inherit her husband's trade, bartering in the market or overseeing olive groves, her acumen as sharp as any man's. Art and artifacts revealed their world. Imagine a bronze mirror, its back engraved with a woman dancing, her gown flowing, a lyre in her hand, or a sarcophagus showing a couple reclining together, their faces serene, suggesting a partnership that extended into eternity. These images, found in tombs across Etruria, speak of women's visibility, their lives celebrated alongside men's. Inscriptions named them Lathia Tanaquil, ramped the mothers, wives, priestesses, their identities preserved in stone or clay. Even common women left their mark, their pottery or textiles carrying the patterns of their hands into the homes and temples of their people. The rhythm of their lives was woven into every aspect of Etruscan society. At festivals, women danced, their movements graceful, honoring gods, like Minerva. In markets, they sold cloth or bread, their voices mingling with the clamor of trade. In homes, they taught children the stories of Tinia and Uni, ensuring the myths endured. Their labor, whether spinning wool or leading prayers, was a thread that bound village to city, earth to divine. As evening falls in Vi, the courtyard grows quiet, the loom stilled, the hearth's embers glowing softly. You sit with your family, sharing a meal of bread and olives, the air cool with the scent of night-blooming flowers. The women of Etruria, from weavers to priestesses, carried their world forward, their strength a quiet force. As you rest now, let the clatter of the loom linger, its rhythm a gentle pulse, carrying you deeper into the Etruscan tapestry. As the gentle rhythm of the women's looms fades into the quiet of Vei's courtyard, let us turn from the hearth to the horizon, where the clash of ambition and survival shaped it. Imagine yourself now on the wind-swept coast near a Greek colony in southern Italy. In the year 474 BCE, the air is sharp with attempts of salt and the acrid bite of burning pitch. You stand among Etruscan warriors, their bronze helmets glinting under a clouded sky, as ships bob ominously on the waves. This is the Battle of Cumae, a pivotal moment when Atreus' naval might faced a crushing test against Syracuse, a clash that echoed through the Mediterranean. Let us walk through this moment of conflict, its weight soft by the distance of centuries, a tale to carry you gently forward. Picture the scene. The Bay of Naples stretches before you, its waters a restless grey, churned by an autumn wind. Cumae, a fortified city perched on a rocky hill, guards the coast, its walls a mix of Greek stonework and Etruscan ambition. The Etruscans, masters of the Tyrrhenian Sea, have long dominated trade routes, their sleek warships galleys with painted prows carrying pottery, bronze, and wine to distant ports. But their dominance has bred rivals. Syracuse, a powerful Greek city in Sicily, seeks to curb Etruscan influence, its leader Hieron rallying a fleet to challenge their control. The stage is set for a confrontation that will ripple through Etruria's future. As an Etruscan warrior, you stand on the deck of a galley, your hand gripping a spear, its shaft worn smooth by practice. Your armor is simple, a bronze breastplate, a leather capulet. It feels heavy under the sea spray. The fleet, drawn from cities like Turkenia and Carrara, numbers dozens of ships, their sails taut, oars dipping in unison. The rowers, their faces grim, chant softly to keep time, their voices blending with the creak of wood and the splash of waves. Your commander, a noble from Populonia, stands at the prow, his cloak snapping in the wind, his eyes fixed on the Syracusan ships approaching like dark shadows across the water. The battle begins with a deceptive calm, the fleets maneuvering like dancers in a deadly ritual. The Etruscans rely on their speed, their galleys darting to ram enemy hulls. You brace as your ship surges forward, the bronze ram at its bow gleaming. The air fills with shouts, the twang of bowstrings, and the thud of arrows striking wood. Syracuse's ships are larger, their decks crowded with hoplites, their spears bristling like a forest. The first clash is chaos wood splinters, men fall, and the sea churns with debris. Yet, the narrator's voice remains detached, focusing not on the visceral but on the weight of the moment, the tide of history turning. The Etruscans fight bravely, their ships weaving through the waves, but Syracuse's strategy proves superior. Hieron's fleet uses fire, hurling pots of burning pitch that ignites sails and panic crews. You see flames leap across a nearby galley, its rowers scrambling as smoke billows. The battle becomes a struggle for survival, not victory. Ships collide, their timbers groaning, and the sea claims those who fall, their cries swallowed by the waves. The Etruscans' numbers dwindle, their formation breaking under Syracuse's relentless pressure. By day's end, the water is littered with wreckage, and the Etruscan fleet retreats, its pride humbled. The aftermath is somber. Back in Tarquinia, the news arrives like a shadow. Families mourn lost sons and brothers, their names whispered in prayers at temple altars. The defeat at Cumae weakens Etruria's grip on the sea, opening the door for Greek and later Roman dominance. Trade routes falter, ports like Gravisca see fewer ships, and the wealth that fueled noble banquets begins to thin. Yet, the Etruscans endure, their cities turning inward, their focus shifting to land and ritual. The battle is not the end, but a turning point, a moment when the balance of power shifted, leaving Etruria to adapt or fade. Imagine standing on the shore as the surviving ships limp home, their sails tattered, the sea behind them a silent witness to loss. The air grows still, the cries of gulls a mournful echo. The warriors, weary and wounded, return to their families, their stories of courage and defeat woven into the fabric of Etruscan memory. The battle's consequences linger, not in bloodshed but in the slow reshaping of a civilization, a reminder of the fragility of power. As you rest now, let the crash of waves soften, the clash of bronze fading into a distant hum. The Battle of Cumae is a chapter closed, its lessons etched into Etruria's soul. Let us carry this sense of resilience forward as we turn to the quiet arts of healing and devotion that sustained the Etruscans through triumph and loss. As the distant echoes of the Battle of Cumae fade into the rhythm of the waves, let us turn from the clash of spears to a yet equally vital aspect of Etruscan life. Imagine yourself now in a small sanctuary in Veii, around the 6th century BC, where the air is thick with the scent of crushed sage and burning myrrh. You stand before a priestess, her hands stained with ochre, as she prepares a remedy for an ailing villager. This is the world of Etruscan divination and medicine, a blend of science and spirituality, where health was sought through herbs, prayers, and the will of the gods. Let us wander through this sacred practice, its rituals as soothing as the herbs themselves, carrying us deeper into the Etruscan soul. Picture the sanctuary, a modest structure of tufa stone, its walls adorned with carvings of serpents, symbols of healing and renewal. Inside, a clay altar holds a small fire, its flames casting flickering shadows across shelves lined with jars of dried plants, mallow, fennel, and willow bark. The floor is scattered with rushes, their faint sweetness mingling with the smoky air. A bronze bowl rests nearby, filled with spring water, its surface rippling as the priestess dips her fingers to bless a patient. The Etruscans believed illness was not just a bodily affliction, but a sign of imbalance, a discord between the mortal and divine. Healing, then, was both art and ritual, a delicate dance to restore harmony. As a villager seeking relief, perhaps from a fever that burns your brow, you approach the priestess with a small offering, a bucero, cup filled with olive oil, its surface etched with a prayer. She listens to your symptoms, her eyes calm but searching, and begins her work. First, she consults the gods through haruspicy, the ancient art of divination. Imagine the solemn moment as she sacrifices a lamb, its life offered to Tinia, the sky god. With a bronze knife, she examines its liver, its smooth surface a map of divine will. A blemish might signal divine displeasure. A clear organ promises favor. Her voice, low and rhythmic, chants a prayer, the words blending with the crackle of the fire, soothing your anxious mind. The priestess then turns to her remedies, her knowledge drawn from generations of healers. She crushes dried chamomile in a mortar, its floral scent rising as she mixes it with honey to ease your fever. For a cough, she might brew a tea of thyme, its bitter warmth coating your throat. If pain grips your joints, she applies a poultice of willow bark, its cool touch a relief against your skin. These remedies were practical, rooted in the plants of Etruria's hills, yet each was paired with a ritual and offering of wine poured into the earth, a whispered invocation to Minerva, goddess of wisdom and healing. The Etruscans saw no divide between medicine and faith. Every cure was a gift from the divine. Divination extended beyond healing, guiding the Etruscans through life's uncertainties. Imagine a farmer, his crops failing, seeking answers in the sanctuary. The priestess might read the flight of birds, noting how doves wheel against the sky, their patterns a message from the gods. Or she might cast bronze lots, their clatter on the altar revealing fate's design. These practices, known as the Etrusca disciplina, were a cornerstone of their culture, recorded in sacred books, now lost to time. Priests and priestesses, trained from youth, were revered as interpreters of the divine, their skills as vital as any warriors. Yet, healing was not without its challenges. The marshes around Veii bred fevers, their damp air carrying sickness that baffled even the wisest healers. A wound from a farm tool could fester, its pain lingering despite childbirth. A common trial often ended in sorrow, the mother's life fading despite prayers. The Etruscans accepted these losses as part of the divine order, offering sacrifices to appease the gods when healing failed. A family might place a clay figurine of a serpent in a tomb, hoping to guide the departed to peace. The sanctuary was a place of community, where villagers gathered not just for cures but for solace. Imagine a mother bringing her child, his cough eased by a healer's tea, sitting with neighbors to share stories of harvests or festivals. The priestess, her hand steady as she binds a wound, offers not just medicine but hope. Her presence a reminder of the gods. Her tools mortar, bowls, and bronze. Scalpels were simple, yet her knowledge was vast, blending observation with ritual in a way that soothed both body and soul. As night falls, the sanctuary grows quiet, the fire's embers glowing softly. The priestess sweeps the altar, her movements slow and deliberate, and offers a final prayer to Minerva, her voice a gentle hum. The air cools, carrying the scent of lavender from a nearby garden, and the village settles into sleep. This was the world of Etruscan medicine and divination, a place where faith and remedy intertwined, offering comfort in a world of uncertainty. As you rest now, let the scent of herbs linger, the murmur of prayers, a soft lullaby. The priestess's work fades, but its resonance carries us forward, into a mystery that lies buried beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered. As the soothing scent of herbs and the murmur of prayers fade from the sanctuary in view, let us step beyond the walls of the living city and into a realm of shadows and secrets. Imagine yourself now on a wooded hill overlooking the Tiber Valley. Around the 5th century BCE, the air is cool, heavy with the scent of pine and damp soil. As you stand before the ruins of Veii, once a jewel of Etruria, now a ghost of its former glory. This is the lost city of Veii, a place of grand temples and bustling streets, swallowed by time and conquest. Its story is a mystery. It remains a whisper of a civilization that refused to fade entirely. Let us wander through this forgotten landscape, its silence as soothing as the twilight that surrounds it. Picture Veii in its prime, a sprawling city rivaling Rome, its walls of tufa, stone stretching across the plateau, its streets buzzed with life artisans hammering bronze, merchants haggling over wool, and priests chanting in temples to Tinia and Uni. The city was a powerhouse of Etruscan culture, its wealth built on fertile fields and trade routes along the Tiber. Temples rose high, their roofs painted red, their altars adorned with offerings of bucero jars and gold. Homes, from humble mud brick huts to noble villas, were adorned with frescoes of dances and feasts, their colors vivid in the Mediterranean sun. Veii was a beacon, a center of art, faith, and ambition, its name spoken with pride across a Yet, by the time you stand on this hill, Veii is silent, its streets overgrown with weeds, its temples crumbling. The mystery lies in its fall. What happened to this great city, and what secrets lie buried beneath its ruins? The answer begins with Rome, Veii's ambitious neighbor. By the 5th century BCE, Rome was growing, its republic hungry for land and power. Veii, just 10 miles away, was a rival too close for comfort. The two cities clashed over trade routes and fields, their skirmishes escalating into a long, bitter conflict. The final blow came in 396 BCE, when Rome, led by the general Camillus, laid siege to Veii. Imagine the siege, though we'll keep its details soft, as if viewed through a distant haze. For 10 years, Roman forces encircled Veii, cutting off supplies, their campfires dotting the hills at night. The Etruscans fought bravely, their warriors wielding bronze spears, their walls holding firm against battering rams. But Rome's persistence wore them down. Legend tells of a secret tunnel beneath Veii's walls, used by Romans to infiltrate the city. When Veii fell, its people were scattered, some enslaved, others fleeing to other Etruscan cities. The temples were looted, their treasures carried to Rome, and the city was left to decay, its stones reclaimed by the earth. Now, as you walk the ruins, you see traces of Veii's grandeur. A crumbling wall reveals a carved relief of a lion, its eyes still fierce despite the moss. A broken column lies half buried, its surface etched with faded paint. Archaeologists, centuries later, would uncover these remains, piecing together Veii's story. They found the Portinazzo temple, dedicated to Minerva, its terracotta, statues of gods and heroes, a marvel of Etruscan art. They discovered homes with tiled floors, workshops with potter's wheels, and a network of tunnels, perhaps for water or escape, hinting at Vei's ingenuity. Each find is a fragment, a clue to a city that once rivaled Rome in splendor, but the mystery deepens what lies beneath the unexcavated earth. Only a fraction of Veii has been explored, its necropolis and suburbs still hidden under fields and forests. Some scholars believe temples or archives remain buried, perhaps holding bronze tablets or linen books that could unlock the Etruscan language. Others speculate about sacred groves, where priests read omens in the rustling leaves, or hidden hoards of gold, buried by nobles fleeing the Roman siege. The land itself seems to guard these secrets, its silence a challenge to those who seek to know more. Imagine kneeling beside a half-buried urn, its surface etched with a warrior's face. As you brush away the soil, the air is still, save for the chirp of crickets and the whisper of wind through cypress trees. Vei's fall was a tragedy, yet its ruins are a testament to Etruscan resilience, their art and faith enduring in stone. The city's loss reshaped Etruria, forcing its people to adapt as Rome's shadow grew. Yet, in its silence, Veii speaks, its fragments a lullaby of a lost world, inviting us to ponder what lies just beyond our reach. As you rest now, let the image of Vei's ruins linger, the soft scrape of earth, a gentle rhythm in your mind. The lost city fades, but its mysteries carry us forward, toward a moment of celebration and devotion that brought Etruria's people together under the stars. As the silent ruins of Veii fade into the whispering earth, let us leave the shadows of loss and step into a moment of vibrant celebration. Imagine yourself now in a sacred grove near Turkenia, around the 6th century BC, where the night air is alive with the scent of burning myrrh and blooming myrtle. The stars gleam above, their light mingling with the glow of torches held by a gathering crowd. You are part of a festival honoring Uni, the Etruscan goddess of love, fertility, and the cosmos, a deity whose grace binds the community in joy and reverence. This is the rhythm of an Etruscan festival, a time when the divine and mortal meet, its rituals as soothing as the night itself. Let us join this celebration, its chants and offerings carrying us deeper into the Etruscan world. Picture the grove, a clearing encircled by ancient oaks, their branches heavy with leaves that rustle in the breeze. At its center stands a stone altar, draped with linen and adorned with wreaths of ivy and wildflowers. The altar is piled with offerings, bocchero cups filled with wine, clay figurines of doves, and baskets of ripe figs, their sweetness mingling with the smoky air. The crowd is a tapestry of Etruscan life. Farmers in rough tunics, nobles in purple cloaks, and children clutching garlands, their faces lit by the fire's glow. Priests and priestesses, their hair bound with gold fillets, move with quiet grace, their voices rising in a chant that echoes through the trees. As the festival begins, you stand among the villagers, a woven shawl across your shoulders, the cool night air brushing your skin. The drums beat a steady rhythm, their sound deep and resonant, like the pulse of the earth itself. A priestess steps forward, her hands raised, holding a bronze bowl of wine. She pours it onto the altar, the liquid catching the firelight as it spills, a gift to Uni for fertility and protection. The crowd joins her chant, their voices blending into a soft, repetitive hymn, the words unfamiliar, yet comforting, a melody that seems to weave the stars into the song. You feel the rhythm, a gentle pull, drawing you into the community's shared devotion. The festival is not just a ritual, but a celebration of life. Imagine dancers moving in a circle, their linen gowns swirling, their feet light on the grass. They carry branches of myrtle, sacred to Uni, their movements mimicking the flow of the cosmos, a dance of creation and renewal. Musicians play lyres and double flutes, their notes weaving through the drums, a melody that rises and falls like a gentle tide. You catch the scent of roasting barley, offered as cakes to the goddess, their warmth a contrast to the cool night. A child hands you a fig, its flesh sweet and tender, and you share it with a neighbor. The act, a small bond in the communal rite. Uni, as the Etruscans saw her, was a mother and protector, akin to the Roman Juno. Her power tied to love, childbirth, and the harvest. Her temple, just beyond the grove, is a modest structure of painted wood, its roof adorned with terracotta figures of the goddess, her arms outstretched. Inside, a statue of Uni stands, carved from cedar, her eyes inlaid with amber that glows in the torchlight. The Etruscans believed she watched over their families, their fields, and their future. Her favor sought through offerings and prayers. A noble might dedicate a gold pendant etched with her image, while a farmer offers a simple clay dove, each gift a plea for her grace. The festival unfolds through the night, each moment steeped in tradition. A priest reads omens in the fire's smoke, its curls interpreted as signs of Eunice will perhaps, a bountiful harvest, or a warning of drought. The crowd listens, their faces calm, trusting the gods to guide their path. Families bring tokens of their hopes. A mother places a tiny sandal on the altar, praying for her child's health. A young woman ties a ribbon to an oak, wishing for love. These acts, small and personal, bind the community, their shared faith, a comfort against life's uncertainties. Yet, even in celebration, there are reminders of the world's fragility. The grove is near the sea, and a distant storm might rumble, a reminder of Tinia's power. The harvest, so vital to the festival's offerings, could fail, leaving altars bare. The priests, aware of these risks, offer additional sacrifices, a lamb or a jar of oil to appease the gods. These moments are woven into the ritual, their weight soft by the community's unity, the shared belief that Eunice love endures. As dawn approaches, the festival winds down, the fire burning low, its embers glowing like scattered stars. The crowd disperses, their footsteps soft on the dew-damp grass, carrying the warmth of the rite into their homes. You linger, watching the altar's offerings gleam in the first light, the scent of myrtle lingering in the air. The festival for Uni was a moment of connection, a celebration that wove the Etruscans together, their faith, a quiet strength. As you rest now, let the chant of the crowd linger, the beat of the drums a gentle pulse in your mind. The grove fades, but its reverence carries us forward, toward a moment when Etruria's world began to unravel under the weight of a new power. As the sacred chants of Eunice festival fade into the starlit grove, let us turn from the warmth of celebration to a moment when the Etruscan world faced its greatest challenge. Imagine yourself now on the walls of Tarquinia, around the 3rd century BC, where the air is heavy with the scent of burning pitch and the dust of marching feet. Below, the Tiber Valley stirs with the presence of Roman legions, their banners glinting in the sun. This is the Roman conquest of Etruria, a slow, relentless tide that reshaped the land of the Etruscans, folding their vibrant culture into the growing shadow of Rome. Let us walk through this transformative era, its weight soft by the distance of time, a story to carry you gently toward rest. Picture Tarquinia in its waning days, still a proud city of the Etruscan League. Its streets lined with painted temples and bustling markets, the bucero pots gleam in workshops, and priests still offer wine to Uni, but attention hangs over the city. Rome, once a small republic under Etruscan kings, has grown into a formidable power. Its legions, disciplined and relentless, have already claimed Veii in 396 BCE, a wound still fresh in Etruscan memory. Now, they turn their gaze to the remaining cities Tarquinia Cara, Volci determined to unify Italy under Roman rule. The Etruscans, once masters of the region, face a foe that fights not just with swords but with strategy and ambition. As a Tarquinian, you stand on the city's walls, your tunic dusted with the grit of stone. The walls are thick, built of tufa blocks, but they feel fragile against the Roman advance. Below, the legions encamp, their tents a sea of white canvas, their campfires glowing like stars in the dusk. The Romans are patient, their siege tactics honed over decades. They block the roads, cutting off grain and oil, and dam the streams that feed Tarquinia's wells. The city's stores dwindle, and the market's bounty once overflowing with figs and wine grows sparse. Yet, the Etruscans resist, their warriors armed with bronze spears and shields, their spirits bolstered by prayers to Tenia for deliverance. The conquest was not a single battle, but a series of campaigns stretching over centuries. Imagine the earlier fall of Veii, a city that held out for 10 years before Roman cunning prevailed. The Romans, led by Camillus, used tunnels to breach its walls, a story whispered in Tarquinia as both warning and legend. By the 3rd century BCE, Rome's power grew through alliances and conquests, absorbing Etruscan cities one by one. Tarquinia, a key prize, faced relentless pressure. Skirmishes flared in the surrounding hills, where Etruscan cavalry clashed with Roman infantry, their efforts valiant but often in vain. The losses were heavy, not in vivid bloodshed but in lives disrupted, families scattered, and futures uncertain. The Romans' victory was as much cultural as military. Imagine a Tarquinian noble, once proud in his purple cloak, now swearing allegiance to Rome to save his lands. The Etruscan elite, seeking to preserve their wealth, adopted Latin customs, their children learning to speak the conqueror's tongue. Temples to Uni were rededicated to Juno, and Etruscan gods were folded into Rome's pantheon. The Bucero trade slowed, replaced by Roman pottery, and the sacred books of the Etruscan disciplina were neglected, their wisdom fading. By the 1st century BCE, Etruria was a province of Rome, its cities integrated, its identity soft into the mosaic of empire. Yet, the conquest was not a total erasure. In Tarquinia, some families clung to their traditions, offering quiet prayers in hidden groves. The Etruscan artisans influenced Roman art, their techniques shaping the statues and temples of the growing empire. Even Roman religion bore Etruscan mux or esposi. The reading of omens became a staple of Roman ritual, a nod to the people they subdued. The Etruscans, though diminished, left a legacy that whispered through Rome's foundations. Imagine standing on Tarquinia's walls as the siege ends, the city gates opening to Roman envy. The air is still, the dust settling, and the people, weary but resilient, begin to adapt. The market stirs again, now with Roman coins alongside Etruscan goods. The temples, though rededicated, still echo with familiar chants. The conquest was a turning point, a moment when Etruria's light dimmed but did not vanish, its culture absorbed yet enduring in subtle ways. As you rest now, let the rumble of drums fade, the clatter of armor softening into a distant hum. The fall of Etruria is a chapter closed, its lessons etched into the stones of Tarquinia and beyond. Let us carry this sense of transformation forward as we reflect on the enduring echoes of Etruscan life in the world we know today. As the dust of Tarquinia's conquest settles and the echoes of Roman footsteps fade into the twilight, let us pause to reflect on the legacy of the Etruscans, a people whose light continues to shimmer through the ages. Imagine yourself now standing on a hill in modern Tuscany, perhaps near the ancient site of Cerveteri, in the quiet of a late afternoon. The air is warm, scented with olive blossoms and the faint damps of earth. As the rolling hills stretch before you, their contours unchanged since Etruscan times. This is the story of Etruscan echoes in modern Italy, a gentle weaving of past and present, where the rhythms of an ancient civilization linger in the landscapes, art, and soul of today. Let us wander through this legacy, its threads as soothing as the breeze that carries us to rest. Picture the Tuscan countryside, its fields golden with wheat, its vineyards heavy with grapes, much as they were when Etruscan farmers tilled the soil. The land itself seems to hold their memory, its hills dotted with olive groves that recall the oil pressed for lamps and offerings. In villages like Tarquinia or Orvieto, the streets wind as they did centuries ago, their cobblestones echoing the paths where potters and merchants once walked. Modern Italians, sipping wine in a piazza or tending gardens, unknowingly mirror the daily rhythms of their Etruscan ancestors, their lives tied to the same fertile earth. The Etruscans' art endures, a vivid thread in Italy's cultural tapestry. Imagine visiting a museum in Florence where a bronze Etruscan statue stands, its eyes still bright with inlaid amber. The statue's flowing lines, perhaps a depiction of Uni or a noble, influenced the sculptures of the Renaissance, their grace echoing in the works of Donatello or Michelangelo. The frescoes of Tarquinia's tombs, with their dances and banquets, inspire modern artists, their vibrant colors a reminder of Etruria's joy in life. Even the Bucero pottery, with its glossy black finish, finds echoes in Tuscan ceramics, their sleek forms a nod to an ancient craft. Architecture, too, carries Etruscan whispers. Walk through Rome, where the arches of the Colosseum or the aqueducts, or their origins to Etruscan engineering. The Etruscans were masters of stonework, their temples and walls built with a precision that Rome adopted and refined. In small Tuscan towns, churches stand on sites once sacred to Tenia or Minerva, their foundations layered over Etruscan altars. The bell towers chime, their sound a distant cousin to the bronze gongs that once called worshippers to festivals. The very layout of cities like Siena, with their winding streets and central piazzas, recalls the Etruscan oppida, where communities gathered around shared spaces. Religion, though transformed, bears Etruscan marks. Imagine attending a Catholic festival in a Tuscan village, where candles flicker and processions wind through the streets. The Etruscans' reverence for omens and rituals lives on in Italy's blend of faith and tradition. The practice of haruspicy, reading signs in nature, finds a faint echo in rural superstitions, where a farmer might still note the flight of birds before planting. The Etruscans' love of communal celebration, seen in their festivals for Uni, resonates in Italy as vibrant festas where food, music, and prayer unite families under the stars. Language, though lost, leaves subtle traces. The Etruscan tongue faded under Roman rule, but its echoes linger in place names across Tuscany. Towns like Volterra, once Velletri, or Perugia, once Perusia, carry Etruscan roots in their syllables. Some scholars believe Etruscan words slipped into Latin, shaping terms for family or ritual that persist in Italian. Imagine hearing a Tuscan farmer call his field a faenum, a word tied to Etruscan sanctuaries, its meaning softened by time but still alive. The Etruscan spirit of resilience also endures. Picture a modern Tuscan winemaker, tending vines on land once farmed by adapting to drought as his ancestors did, or a craftsman in a Florence workshop, shaping clay with techniques that echo Bucaro's artistry. The Etruscans faced conquest, yet their culture seeped into Rome, shaping its art, religion, and governance. Today, Italians carry this legacy forward, their pride in their land a quiet tribute to a people who loved it first. As you stand on that Tuscan hill, the sun dipping below the horizon, you see a landscape that bridges centuries. The olive trees sway, their leaves catching the last light, just as they did for the potter, the noble, the priestess. The church bell rings, its tone a distant cousin to Etruscan chants. The Etruscans are gone, yet they are everywhere in the curves of a statue, the stones of a wall, the laughter of a festival. Their world, though buried, lives on, a gentle reminder of the threads that connect us to the past. As you rest now, let the Tuscan breeze carry you, its softness a lullaby, tying ancient Etruria to the present. The hills fade, their contours blurring, but their legacy lingers, a final note in our journey through this lost civilization. And so, dear listener, our journey through the world of the ancient Etruscans draws to a close, its echoes lingering like the glow of a fading fire. From the clay-stained hands of the potter to the opulent halls of the noble, from the sacred rites of Uni to the silent tombs of we've wandered through a civilization that shaped the heart of ancient Italy. The Etruscans, with their vibrant art, their mystic rituals, and their resilient spirit, left a legacy that whispers through the hills of Tuscany, a legacy that binds their time to ours. As you lie in the comfort of your own bed, far from the dusty kilns and wind-swept battlefields, let the weight of their world slip away. The potter's wheel no longer turns, the noble's feast is long ended, and the chants of the priestess have faded into the night. Yet, their stories remain etched in stone and memory, a gentle reminder of lives lived with purpose and faith. The Etruscans faced toil, loss, and conquest, but they also found joy in their festivals, their crafts, their shared moments under the stars. Now, as the crickets hum and the breeze carries the scent of distant olives, let your mind drift. Picture the Tuscan hills, their slopes bathed in moonlight, a landscape where the past and present intertwine. The Etruscans are gone, but their echoes surround you in the art you admire, the streets you walk, the stories you carry into your dreams. Let these images soothe you, their rhythm a lullaby, guiding you gently towards sleep. Thank you for joining us on this journey through boring history for sleep. May your rest be deep, your dreams soft, and your night filled with the quiet wonders of the past. Good night, dear listener, and may the Etruscan hills watch over you.